Ricky2, Sayris13 here. I'm at home right now. I've had work, just got home. I'm going to do a quick video so you guys can see my updated Lightsworn after this last weekend that just happened, that I still haven't uploaded yet either. But by the time you're watching this one, the other one should be done too, uploaded. But anyways, I don't know why I ramble on like that. Anyway, here's my updated Lightsworn version. Now I'll just go through it because I'm actually running out of battery power, I just noticed, and I left my cable out at my folks' place up in the interior there, so I have to do it through my computer and it takes forever. So I'll whip through this, a few explanations here and there, and well, a lot of it will be self-explanatory. Some of you guys already know it's the new cards and whatnot anyway, so because I opened up the structure decks on the video last time. So alright, so here we go. Alright. Let me just position this right. There we go. As you can see, I got some new bacon sleeves. Bacon. Alright. So, there's 42 cards in this deck. I know a lot of people like to stick with the 40. I figure Lightsworn, lots of milling. But now with the Michael edition, there's a chance to put some stuff back too, right? Even with Burial from a Different Dimension, you can do that too. So anyway, but mind you, that puts it to the graveyard, which can then get it back into the deck through Michael. Well, you know what I mean. Anyway, all right, so here we go. So we're going to start out with, of course, the one monster you have to have 3 of, regardless. And now that they've got her at 3, is Lumina. Lumina is your special summoner. She can summon out any Lightsworns, level 4 or lower, once per turn. So she's really good, and she gets stuff out that you need, right? So you get her out there, and you get this guy out there, which is Raiden, the new guy. Now his effect is he can once per turn you can send 2 cards to the graveyard or mill 2 cards to the graveyard or whatever you want to call it. And if they're Lightsworn monsters, he gains 200 for each of them. And of course, there's still the mandatory 2 to the graveyard in the end turn, anyways. Is there something else about this guy? I can't remember here. I don't know. I only just started playing him. Well, whatever. I'll get to it in a minute, anyways. So there's the Lumina. Actually, I gotta pause this for one quick second, you guys. I'll be right back. See, that didn't take very long. For you guys, it was like a second. For me, it was like a minute. But anyway, alright, so next up, you want 3 of these guys now. And that's Raiden. And as I said earlier, his effect, you can mill 2. And if they're Lightsworns, he gains a 200 boost per. That effect lasts until your opponent's next turn, so that's pretty cool. And of course, there's a standard mill of 2, like Arcus or something from the original Lightsworn at the end of the turn, or yeah, at the end of your at your end phase. Okay, next up. Now another important card to have. She seems to always be in any Lightsworn build, and that's Lila. 2 is good enough. Kill a couple of back row. That's what she's good for. Mill 3 at the end. Another big milling card. Right. Garroth. This time I'm only running 1 Garroth. That's all you need. He's a bit of a beast stick. He's 1850, so he gets that little extra kick in the nuts over the other 1800 guys. So I find that really it's all you need. He's like a bit of an extra draw engine, but there's pretty good draw engine in this deck with the solar recharges, etc. So, next up. I find she comes in handy a lot, and this is Erin, Lightsworn Monk. She can kick a defense position monster back to the deck, so that can come in handy too when you get some of them troublesome tokens and stuff like that. So yeah, a must. Level 4, easy peasy with this girl, Minerva, which is the new tuner. Hang on one second. When this card is normal summoned, you can add a light dragon type monster from your deck to your hand, so it's kind of handy there for getting your JDs. Or if you're out of JDs and you need some of the rulers, because I run rulers in this one. It's not uncommon, lots of people do that nowadays. The dragon that you pull out of the graveyard, the total, or its stars must equal the total number of Lightsworn monsters with different names in your graveyard. So after this, we'll show you just how many different name Lightsworns we've got here. So you got your 1 Erin, and I'm only running 1 of these for now. I find it's good enough like this, because you've got the level 4 tuners in your Raiden there. And there's other level 3s that can work with him. Now, one wolf. That's all you really need. And we all know what he does. Once he's milled to the graveyard from your deck, he's an instant beat stick on the field. Another beat stick, Jane. And I'm only running one in these because I needed to make room for other stuff. So, and that's the purpose of me only going to one wolf as well, to make room for other shit. Yeah, well, we all know this guy. He gains 300 when he attacks, so he goes up to 21. So he's like the same attack points as Wolf, which is cool. The Beatstick Brothers. All right. Now for non-Lightsworn monsters, yet you'll see these guys in every Lightsworn deck. Actually, the next few, and pretty much every Lightsworn deck. JD, Judgment Dragon. He's the big boss. I run 3. You all know what he does. Pay 1,000, nuke the field. Bye-bye. And then somebody throws a Veiler. Shit. Alright, so there we go. 3 of those. In this version, I'm only running 2 Gardenas. I like these new, the new golds with the fancy schmancy lettering. It's kind of blingy. I like it. I still have my supers. Don't sweat. I also have gold ones, but these are the good gold ones. I like these ones. Alright, so we all know what they do. Pull them from the graveyard, negate an attack. Now, I was running these in my, before the new cards came out, in my older Lightsworn deck as well, and that's Kuri Bandit. It's a great way to get some spell cards you need. If you open with one of these and the rest of your hand is kind of, you don't really have a lot you can do, then summon this guy and get some spell cards. Also, it'll fill your graveyard up with names. Alright, so 3 of those. Recommended. Because he's just too good not to run 3. Alright, now. And this hurts me. This hurts me so bad. But I'm running 3 Eclipse Wyverns in here. Because I'm running the ruler version. What hurts is I've only got... I have 2 of the golds, which I prefer. And 2 supers. So I gotta trade the super for another gold, or the other way around, depending on what the other guy wants. To me, either way really doesn't matter as long as I have 3, and I like them all to match. But this will do for now. 3 of these, because he can also get you JDs and other dragons as well. You guys all know how he's been around for a while, so you know how he works, especially when he was with the Chaos Dragons. But run 3, very good to run 3. Doesn't get cloggy, don't listen to them. And of course, some people aren't running this card in the newer version, but Honest, and I run Honest no matter what, because sometimes you need him to get over those beatstick, those gigantic beatsticks that come at you. So he's too handy to give up, in my opinion. Alright, so Honest, and we all know what he does. Now, these 2 guys are in here because they're just too good. And they're easy to get out. And that's Daedalus and Diablos. Alright. Daedalus, I believe, here is the one that... hang on here. Yeah, that's it. Field spell. You can kill field spells. And Diablos, there you go. Banish a light monster from your graveyard to target and set 1 card your opponent controls. Target 1 set card your opponent controls. Reveal that target. Return the target to either the top or the bottom of the deck. Very good. If you don't like it, put it on the bottom. If you don't give a shit, put it on the top. At least you know what he's going to pull next time. Anyway, these guys are awesome, and the reason that they're also easy to get out, because with all the light names or light monsters that you'll end up in your graveyard, these guys are like instant summons, and they're level 7s. And what happens when you get 2 7s on the field, guys? Big Eye. Start stealing the other guy's stuff. Thanks for your Draco sack. All right, which I got to get to now. I swore I'd never have one, but I kind of think it might be a good idea now. Alright, so, last but not least of the monsters, the Ruler Brothers. The Ruler Dragon Brothers. I don't think most of them can use their effects because there are no fire, earth, wind, and water monsters in here. Other than these guys. But they're level 7s, they're easy to summon, so why the hell not? And they're beat sticks. So you can use them, punch a couple dudes in the face, then go into something like a Master of Blades or Big Eye or Draco Sack or whatever you want. Just too easy to get out. And easy to get with your wyverns and stuff like that. Okay, so now onto the spells. And I don't run a lot. As you can see, it was mostly monsters. So first up, obviously, charge the Light Brigade. get those level 4 or lower Lightsworns you need when you need them. Alright, next up, the triplicate of Solar Recharge, because it's draw engine, and the more you draw, the more you can fill the graveyard, the quicker you get out your JDs and stomp the crap out of somebody. So these things are just too good, man. Discard a Lightsworn and draw 2 and then mill 2. So, yeah, it's awesome. Next up, I run 2 Soul Charges. That way you can pull some dudes back out of the graveyard if you need to go into something to clear the other guy's field. You can't attack when you use Soul Charge, so you do some wonky stuff like beat up on his dudes other ways with your effects, like Draco Sack, or yeah, you can pull out some tokens with your Draco Sack, or if you get your level 7 guys back out on the field. Now remember, it costs you $1,000 per monster that you summon from the graveyard, but or $1,000, 1,000 points, $1,000. Holy crap! I'm never playing Yu-Gi-Oh again. All right, so Soul Charge, get your dudes out. Then you can Xyz summon, Synchro summon, do whatever you want. Pop shit on the field, because you can do that with Michael. You see, I'll bring out Raidens and level 3s, like Luminas or something, and I'll go into Michael's, 2 of them. Then I'll go into a big eye and steal the dudes after I pop the other ones. You know, that kind of shit. There's all kinds of cool little plays and trolly shit you can do with this card. Even though you can't attack, but that's okay. You can leave that for the next turn and then hammer it home. Alright, so now a lot of guys aren't playing this, but I think I can't give it up, and that is Foolish Burial. If I haven't drawn my wolf, which I'm pretty prone to doing, it seems, then I might have this. I get a dude out on the field right away. And if I get a Lumina, then I get 3 dudes out on the field right away. So it's just too good not to have. Also, you can put other things in your graveyard that you want there as well, like some of the dragons. Let's say you need a dragon in the graveyard so you can special out some of the other rulers. Well, there you go. There's a way to get them. All right, so now you might need some stuff back from the graveyard. And I don't run any, what do you call them, beckoning lights. So I've got 2 of these. A lot of guys are running 1. I know my buddy Tyler's running 1. I like 2. Easy. It's just more easy to come by if you need it. And if it goes to the graveyard with a mill, then it's lost, right? Because you can't really get anything out of the graveyard. Unless, of course, I run Magician of Faith. But who the fuck runs that anymore? I don't know why we don't, though. She is pretty good. You can sneak 1 in there. She's, you know, she does what she does. But anyways, yeah, so 2 of these guys to get back any important stuff that you might need. Maybe you need some of the Lightsworn monsters or your JDs back because somehow it got nuked. Alright, so there you go. These are just too good not to run. Alright, now the last 2 cards, and they're traps. And they are breakthrough skills. Because, damn it, there's a lot of good effects out there, and if you can neutralize them, you can do this while it's on the field. You can flip it and stop something. Then on your turn, if it's in the graveyard, and Buddy wants to do something like, let's say he like Ptolemy M7 or something from Omega or the Constellar guy, and you can remove this from the graveyard if it's your turn and he's trying to bounce your dude back. It's just too good not to run. Anyways, I'm running out of battery power here, so let me make this really quick from here on out. Side deck. Alright, for my locals, there's a lot of crazy decks with lots of special summonings, so I side 2 Max C's, and we all know what this does. It's pretty standard. They also have a lot of powerful monsters, so I'm siding 2 Veilers. A lot of other ruler and other dragon type decks out there right now, so I'm siding Electric Virus, which also works on machines. You can steal their machines. So Girgia, or yeah, the Girgias and the dragon decks, beware of Electric Virus. Alright, so in case somebody gets pretty back row heavy, and I don't suggest playing these when you're going up against artifacts, but Mystical Space Typhoons come in handy for stuff like your Evil Swarms and stuff like that, where they need their back row sometimes, so gets rid of that shit. Again, if you're going up against Evil Swarms or Ghost Tricks or other dark monsters, you need your Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors, and there's quite a few people that play these dark themed decks at my locals, so these come in quite handy. And one thing, playing Lightsworn, what is the one thing we Lightsworn players just hate the most? Not being able to get our graveyard And these guys that play stuff like Macro and D-Fisher, I hate it. So I play these, 2 of them. It's a must. And if you're going up against a guy that's got removal deck, you got to side these in. Take out those breakthrough skills. I don't care. Take out 2 of the whatever, but you got to run these. Because if your monsters are not in your graveyard, you're going to have a bad day. All right. So here's a way, if you feel things aren't going your way and you need a speed up. Needlebug nests. They help get guys in your graveyards pretty quickly. It's a free 5-card mill. Yeah? Sounds pretty reasonable to me. And last but not least, there are still mermails and other graveyard-reliant decks to activate their effects in the graveyard, so it's always handy to have a Soul Drain there. Alright? It costs you a little bit, but believe me, it could get you the win. Alright, so that's my side deck. It's themed basically because of my locals. Well, there seems to be a lot of those kind of cards still running. Now for the extra deck. Again, now, in case of removal, Leviair comes in handy. So that's my first level 3. Now with the Kari Bandits and your Luminas, it's actually fairly easy to make this guy when need be. Alright? Next I run Constellar Hades. Simply because you get some huge dudes out there, and at the current time you can't do anything. You can go into Hades, turn them all to defense, and start spanking them with your dudes that aren't quite as big as their attack of the dudes that you just put in defense. So he comes in pretty handy like that. And then when things get too hairy, you can use him and go into this guy and start bouncing people. Alright, so there's M7. Alright, next. And I just picked this up, and it's too good. Another way to steal dudes. Silent Honor Arc number 101. Couldn't get an ultimate, but Ultra First Ed is fine by me. It's still kind of blingy. But yes, this is very, very good card. It's like a little junior big eye. Yes, it costs you 2 of your units, but as soon as you steal the guy, you get an extra unit again. And you can use one of them fancy magic cards that adds, you know, they can flip over and it becomes a unit if you want to use the effect twice, if you want to really abuse it. Alright, Laval Chain. Why? Puts dudes I need on top of the deck. It's just too good not to run with this kind of deck. Alright, now again, stuff like Mermails. You're going to need this guy. Abyss Dweller, negates graveyard effects. So you pop this guy out there and go, screw you and your graveyard effects, Mr. Mermail player. So yeah, you need this guy. He's too good. Now, currently I only have 2 rank 7s that I'm using. Big Eye and Master of Blades. I am going to find me a Draco Sack eventually, because having all those tokens out there can actually save you once in a while. I've learned that going up against this stupid bastard. Alright, so anyways. So, Big Eye, you know what he does? He steals shit. And Master Blades, he's just, well, you know. Well, yeah. He's too good. Alright. Now, level 8s. I rarely go into it, but when I do, it's Felgrand. Yep, because he's a powerhouse. He's just too awesome. And I just love the artwork for it. It's awesome. Anyway, well, if you guys don't know what he does, there you go. Alright? He's pretty much unaffected by everything. And he just starts kicking ass. Alright? Now, Synchros. I won't pull this out against Evil Swarms, but I'll pull it out in mirror matches or Constellars and whatnot, and that's Cataster. And believe me, there's lots of those running around in my locals and regionals. So Cataster still comes in handy. There will come a day where I'll probably yank him and put in Hyper Librarian, because who doesn't want free draws? But yeah. He's too good not to run right now. And Michael. There's the Synchro Monster. Lightsworn finally get a Synchro Monster. And you get to see Judgment Dragon staring right at you. Right there. It's a pretty good detail on this card. I think it looks pretty cool. And for those of you who don't know what this card does, I'll pull it up there and put it there so you can read it. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points. So it's kind of like JD. It's got the JD 1,000 thingy. Target a card on the field and banish it. When this card is destroyed, you can target any number of other Lightsworn monsters in your graveyard and shuffle them back into the deck. See what I mean? If you do, you gain 300 life points for each returned card. During each of your end phases, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So he's got the mill at the end phase too. But hey, he can restore your life points and he can get you dudes back. And he banishes shit. I mean, so what? People go, oh, he's not that great. I go, you know what? He's pretty damn good, actually. So I threw one in. I was running 2 at locals in the weekend because I didn't have other stuff set up. I just bought the structure decks and I threw this deck together. So I did what I could with what I had at the time. And I just didn't have enough time to make it any better. That's why I came in like, I don't know, 8th or 9th or something. Anyway, so that's Michael. He's awesome. All right. Next up, Scrap Dragon. We all know what he does. Tribute something, pop something. You got to get rid of pesky cards. Scrap Dragon helps out. Now, Stardust. I like using him again now because there's a lot of these destructive effects, and he can stop a lot of that shit. He basically stops all destruction effects by tributing himself. And the cool thing is you get him back after. All right. The Indestructible. What's it, Beazle or something, I think is his name? I can never remember this guy's name. Hang on here. Yeah, Beazle. Of the dragon, whatever. Anyways, this guy can't be killed, it seems. The only way to get rid of him is to banish him. Cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. Period. It doesn't matter if they target. If you take damage from an attack involving this card, or when you take damage from an attack involving this card, or from an opponent's card effect, this card gains attack equal to the damage you took. So he starts at 3,000, right there. 3,000 he starts at, and he gains. It's insane. So you can't kill him, and whatever damage you would have took, let's say Obelisk pops out and he's at 45, he gains 1,500. So he becomes 45. Then you can go, hey, Obelisk, screw you, hippie. So there, it's just too good. He's awesome. And another guy I played with actually on the weekend runs 2 of these guys. I should run 2. He's too good not to run 2. But I run 1 right now. Right, and of course I can't give this gap because he's a good field clearer without destroying stuff. So you can't stop him with Stardust. Mistworm. You know, it's a little tougher to go into him now because I don't run any Plague Spreaders. But I can still make him, and I did on the weekend. I used Minerva. And 2 Luminas, I believe. No, Minerva, Lumina, and a Kree Bandit, I think I used. And went into him. Because he's generic, right? See? 1 tuner, 1 more non-tuner. When he synchro summons successfully, return up to 3 cards your opponent controls to the hand. So he can get rid of that field and you go for an OTK. And I've done that many times with this guy. So I can't give him up. He's just too good. To me, in my opinion. Too good to run. Or not to run. Anyways, that's it, you guys. That's the last one. Let me just swing the camera around here. Anyways, yeah. So that's it. That's my new update. Yeah, it's my reading glasses because I'm blind as a bat nowadays. That's my new Lightsworns. Hope you like it. It's pretty standard. But, you know, some of my own personal text in the extra deck and side deck and whatnot. And remember, go with whatever happens at your locals for your side deck, okay? So don't just throw stuff in because I did. Unless, of course, your locals are similar to me, where the cards I put in my side deck, you know, are just as useful for your locals too. Then go for it. But Soul Drain is great in your side deck because people still use stuff like Mermails. And they're still pretty good. All right, so anyways, guys, that's it. You've now seen my updated Lightsworn, and probably in a couple months I'll update it again with the other new Lightsworn dude that comes out, because I might throw a couple in. So I'll show you that build, and then things might change. You never know. People might be playing something different at my locals. Anyways, that's it for now. Sayris13, swinging for game.